How to select the domain name? What should be the name of your blog? What should it be called? This is a very important part of your blog journey. You may not be paying great deal of attention and you would be like, let me pick a random domain name. But you also have to think, what if your domain, what if your website will become super popular, and just because you did not pay good attention to your domain name, it does not look good now. So at this stage, it's very important that you pick a good domain name that you can call it your own. Think of your domain name as the name of your baby, and that's how you should technically pick a domain name. So now to select the domain name, there are a few rules that you can follow, but you should know that these rules are meant to guide you. There are some cases where you can defy these rules. It's just there are three rules that I would always follow, which I will tell you in this video. So let's go ahead, let's learn all these different ways of selecting domain name, things you should be doing and things you should not be doing. Let's go ahead, let's have a look. All right, so the very first thing is use a .com domain name. A .com domain name is somewhat very popular. In fact, when you do a Google search, you will find most of the domain name result coming from .com. In some cases, you might see .org or .net domain name. They are also very popular. But my suggestion is stick with .com domain name, and that's what people understand. The second part is your domain name should pass the phone test. Now, what is phone test? It's simple. Your domain name should be easy to pronounce, like shout me loud. Your domain name should be easy to type. There should be no confusion of is it I, is it E, is it A, like shout me loud. Your domain name should be easy to pronounce. Your domain name should be easy to type. And if it's possible, your domain name should be easy to remember as well. That ways you kind of like get a lot of return traffic as well. Now, these three rules about domain name selection, like domain name should be easy to pronounce, easy to type, and should be memorable, is something that I want to keep at the top of the head when you are selecting a domain name. Now, moving ahead, a short domain name is better. The shorter the domain name, better it is. So Shout Me Loud is a good name, but then Labnol, I feel it's a better name. WP Sutra is a much better name. Coin Sutra is a much better name. The idea here is that your domain name should be about 12 characters. Again, there is no hard and fast rule here. There are many website owners who have domain name like I will teach you to be rich.com, making sense of sense.com. You can see like they are more than over 20 characters and they are still very popular. So this is not a hard and fast rule, but this is something that you should be aware of. The shorter it is, better it is. I usually what I do is, like, for example, if I am creating a blog on WordPress, I will use WP and add a suffix like WP guide, WPSutra.com. As simple as that, plain simple domain name. Another thing is you want to avoid hyphens. So a lot of people think like, I would use hyphen like WP hyphen Sutra. I think it's a bad idea. Do not use hyphen. It's been proven that hyphen does not help in any ways. Just because you're not getting a domain name that you want, that means you have to start searching from scratch and find another domain name rather than using hyphen. You might not see a lot of domain name with the hyphen when you're searching online. And one very important thing, avoid using trademark on the domain name. So most of the brand name like WordPress, Google, Amazon, Shout Me Loud, they are trademark. This brand have got the trademark of this brand name. And if you are using this domain name like, something like googleworld.com or wordpressworld.com, they would send you one notification saying like, hey, you are violating our trademark. You need to give us the domain to us. And then you need to get into this hustle of changing your domain name, which is a lot of work. So avoid trademark violation. Now, it comes down to a very interesting question that has been asked by a lot of users is, should I be using my name as domain name like Harsh.com or HarshDigital.com or HarshBlogger.com? Well, when you're creating this website, you're creating this website to be able to sell. You're not creating this website just to, run a blog, but you should keep in your mind that tomorrow you are very much okay to sell this as a business. You can definitely use your name as a domain name when you're building a portfolio website. Like if you're a freelance writer and you want to build your personal portfolio, you can use that, or you can use it for your resume website. Or if you're a doctor and you want to build a website for you as like Harsh Doctor, something like this, then you can use your domain name. But while we are talking about building a niche, profitable niche website, in that case, stick with something which is more brandable. A generic is also okay sometime, but I prefer something brandable like wpsutra.com. Good idea is like, you pick a word from that niche. Like one of our shouter has a name pedalthrottle.com for his travel blog. I know it sounds a little technical, but anybody who is a avid traveler would like that. But at the same time, you also need to think, if you have a beginner blog, if you're targeting the beginner user, you want to keep your name simple as well. And again, there are like a lot of school of thoughts here, but if you use these few fundamentals while selecting the domain name, it would help you a lot. Now, before you buy a domain name, there are two things which you should know. You don't need to spend money on your domain name purchase. Most of the time, a lot of web hosting offers free domain name. Like the one that I recommend is Bluehost. They offer a free domain name with their hosting. Another thing, if you have to buy a domain name from some other domain registrar, buy it from namesilo.com. It's cheap, it's about $8 there. Or buy it from GoDaddy. If you're buying it for the first time, it would cost you $2 or $3 with a coupon code. But GoDaddy sucks because they charge a lot in the renewal price, and that's why I suggest you to avoid it. Now that's all about domain name. I believe it gave you some clarity about the domain name. And again, like always, if you have question about domain name, feel free to ask in the forum. I will be watching your thread. There are other members who are always willing to help others, so you'll get a lot of help there. With that, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye. This is Harsh.